Hey there, and welcome to the channel. I'm Gunyan. Thank you for stopping by. Today we're talking Dying Light 2 and the Bloody Ties DLC and the gore feeling update for the game. There's a lot to cover in this one video, but if you're worried about spoilers, be assured there's not gonna be any story spoilers, maybe some things gameplay wise, but story wise, nothing, so you can calm down. And without further ado, let's explain what it's about. The DLC has a lot of stuff in it, it's a whole new map that I'm gonna explain more about, and the gore feeling update released not long ago, actually like a month ago or something, and it also added a lot of new physics to the game, and I'm really excited to talk about that. But before we do that, if you enjoyed the video and you wanna hear more about open world games or Dying Light 2 in specific, be sure to subscribe because it really helps out the channel. Only 4% of my viewers are subscribed right now, so it would be very much appreciated. Thank you, and let's get into it. So let's start with the most fun part, the DLC. Bloody Ties, Dying Light 2 Bloody Ties. It released about a year ago. There's a lot of stuff in it, but is it good stuff? Is the stuff that the DLC adds actually worth your time? Let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the story of it. Takes place in the Carnage Hall. It's a special location not connected to the rest of the map in Dying Light 2, so you're gonna have to travel there every time you wanna play part of the DLC. Everything the DLC does takes place there except the opening mission and some missions here and there, but not too many. Most of the DLC takes place in the Carnage Hall, and that's a good thing because the Carnage Hall looks great. I love the vibe of it. The people there are just differently than in the main game, which gives it its unique vibe and it makes it feel like it's an actual part of the game and not just an add-on. And also the building itself is very well designed. I had some problems with navigation in it. It takes a lot of time to get from one side to the other, especially when you just start the DLC. Most of the mission givers are gonna be inside the main building and the missions are gonna be outside. So each time you're gonna want a mission, you have to take it from someone inside, run all the way out around the building to the back of the building, and that's where the mission takes place. And it's not doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's like 2 minutes of your life that you lose every time you start a mission, which I would have been happy not to have. But still, let's put that aside for a second. The DLCs were written. I like the characters, they did change a lot about it. Back when it came out, the story was a little different. This might surprise you because basically no other company does this. The story wasn't that well received when it came out, so Techland went ahead and changed some parts of it. They took out some parts, changed it here and there to make it more flow better and more unique and just like more immersive, which I do appreciate. I would have liked to had the chance to experience the original version, but I didn't because I bought the DLC late. I bought the DLC after the Gore event update, so I didn't get to experience the main like old version of the story, and I did experience the new version, and all I can say about it is that it's okay. It's just like the rest of the game. The characters are interesting but not mind-blowing. The locations and story like missions are interesting but not mind-blowing, except the arena challenges. Those I love, but I will get to them in the gameplay part. But for now, the story is good, it's serviceable, it's a generic 7 out of 10 story, but the main point of the DLC isn't the story, it's the arena. So I can forgive a lower quality story because the gameplay pulls the weight in this department. But if we're already talking about lighting and stuff, before we get to the gameplay part, I just want to mention the lighting in the game. I don't know if it's only me, but at some points of the game it just looks straight up ugly. And then when it gets dark or gets to dawn or something like this, other than morning basically, it looks amazing. I love the vibe of the game, but there's that one specific time of the day that fucks with the lighting and it makes the game look very ugly. I don't know if it's just me or is it a stylistic choice, but I wanted to mention it because it does bother me personally, and I do hope that they add an option to like fix it or reshade it or something in the future. And knowing Techland, they might actually do that. So let's get into the combat and the gameplay side of the DLC. It's gonna start with you doing 3 challenges in Villador in the main game to get accepted into the challenge hall thing, into the Carnage Hall. And when you do that, you get there, you're gonna meet some people. some interesting characters, and you're gonna have basically to play very specific challenge missions inside the Carnage Hall to move up the ladder and become the best of the champions. And that's basically the gameplay of the story. It's gonna be you going to the Severus guy who gives you the missions, take a mission, do a challenge. There's time challenges, there's story challenges, there's parkour challenges, and there's like a mini boss challenge. There's 4 types. All of them are fun to play through. You're gonna take this challenge, do it, get a new rank, then Severus is probably gonna tell you some little side story thing that you can do, and then you can choose to help him in this side story or continue ranking up your rank in the arena to become the best. So that's how it goes with the gameplay. There's gonna be a lot of side quests that you can do, which most of them are fun to do, not anything mind blowing, but fun, just like the rest of the game. But the arena itself, I really do like it. I think it's a personal preference. If you don't like time challenges, you're probably gonna hate this DLC, just don't buy it, it's not worth your money. But if you do enjoy some part of the challenges, this DLC is fun. Most of the arena things are gonna be under a strict time limit, and it's gonna be set in different like vibes, and it's basically like theater. They set up a whole location and you get there and have to do your part in the play. I don't know, you have to run away from volatiles in Haran. That's one of the scenarios they put you in. And you get a specific time limit to do that, and at the end, you get rewarded with points that you can buy cosmetics with, which there's a whole NPC who only sells cosmetics, and I love that guy. There's so many things to buy from him, and it really adds to the end game of the game. So I'm really glad that exists. But really, gameplay wise, other than that, there's not much to add. That's what you're gonna be doing 99% of the time in the DLC. So if that sounds fun to you, be sure to buy the DLC. If it doesn't sound fun, well, maybe some other things can make it up for you. For example, the new loot that you can get. The new weapons are fun, you can re-roll them every time you get these arena tokens. You can go to the cosmetics guy and get new weapons from him, which is basically a new endgame place to get weapons. There's the new cosmetics, there's new equipment. Yes, there's a shield now that shoots electricity or poison and whatnot. It's really fun to use. It's just a different style to play, and I do enjoy when there's variety in the game. Other than that, there's that mask ability thing back from Dying Light 1. Yes, that very broken camouflage thing where you put zombie blood on your face and the zombies can't see you for a time. Came back, it's in the DLC, you can get it. And it's really fun to use. It's more balanced than it was in Dying Light 1. You can't just unlimitedly do it. There's a specific amount of uses that you can get, and you can craft more later to get more uses, so it makes it more balanced, but it's also the same kind of fun that Dying Light 1 had. So, like I said, if you didn't like the arena part that I described, maybe the new loot will make it up to you. There's new mods as well, there's the new cosmetics like I mentioned, there's a lot of stuff other than the arena thing, but mainly it's the arena. So if you don't like that, if it doesn't sound appealing to you, maybe this DLC isn't for you. And the last point I wanted to touch upon when it comes to the DLC is some issues that I had. First of all, like I mentioned, the lighting in the game is really weird and I don't like how it looks at specific times. Other than that, there's the fast travel problem. You have to go back to the entrance of Carnage Hall and then travel from there to Villador, and every time you want to go back to Carnage Hall, you're gonna have to go to the car that takes you to the Carnage Hall, fast travel to the car, then use the car to fast travel to Carnage Hall, and then you walk up the stairs, go inside the building. It's like a solid 30 seconds of just walking and walking until you get to the location where the NPCs are. And there's no parkour in the way, so it makes it really boring to move between locations in the DLC. And that's basically my one big issue with it. And other than that, there's not really that many issues in the DLC. There's a little nitpicks here and there, some glitches here and there. The shield doesn't work as good as I would have liked it to. It glitches out a lot, but it's still fun to use. But really, The DLC doesn't have that many problems, other than the two that I mentioned. And the very last thing I want to mention about the DLC is the choices. I know that a lot of people had problems with choices and consequences in Dying Light 2. In this DLC, the choices actually matter. I really do feel like they do. I can't explain exactly step by step how each thing affects, and really don't expect this to be Fallout New Vegas, but trust me, your choices have consequences and they do affect the story. So if that was your problem with Dying Light 2, this is an improvement. So that's the DLC. In short, it came out a while ago. People were really debating, is it good, is it bad, is it worth it? I just explained everything it has in it. For me personally, as a Dying Light 2 fan, as a Dying Light 1 fan, I do think the DLC is worth it. I just want more Dying Light, so anything is good for me. And it's not that expensive. I mean, it's like $10 or something, and a skin in Call of Duty costs that much. So, like, come on. You get like 15-20 hours of gameplay for the same price as a skin in Call of Duty. So, money wise, I really think the DLC is worth it. But that's all I want to say about the DLC. If you're interested in it, check it out. Let me know what you think down below about it. I'm really interested to see other people's opinions on it because I didn't see a lot of people talk about it. Before closing off the video, I just wanted to mention the Gore Feeling update. It came out a month ago. It's really a lot of like physics to the game. I had a very big problem with Dying Light 2 when it came out, and a lot of people still do, that the physics aren't as advanced as Dying Light 1, and I mean, they still aren't, but they are a very big improvement from release. This Gore Feeling update basically adds new physics, new death animations for the zombies. You can hit specific parts of them and the bone will show. It's basically hitting on Dead Island 2, but it's nowhere as close as Dead Island 2 and that game's gore system. But this really adds a lot of personality to the game, and I really gotta commend Techland for doing this because it makes the gameplay feel a lot more fun. And that's the reason I waited this long to buy the DLC, because I wanted to play the DLC while the combat is updated. And I gotta tell you, it was worth the wait because the combat feels great after this update. They added a lot in it. There's a lot of new animations also, and it's basically a good update. You can check out patch notes, you can find them easily. It's a really good update. The community is really hyped up about it. So I just wanted to mention it real quick at the end of the video because I think it's worth a mention, and it's worth noting how Techland sticks to their game and how much they're improving it with time. If you stayed for this long, really, thank you. It's a long video, I know, I rambled a lot, but Dying Light 2 is one of my favorite games this year, and I really have been enjoying it, and the DLC that's coming seems to be a lot of fun, and Techland seems to be really committed to this game. So I'm really excited for the future of it, and I think if you didn't give it a chance, this is the time. If you're barely interested in it, I mean, if you're in this video, you're interested, so give it a chance. What do you have to lose? Couple of bucks, it's still not as much as a Call of Duty skin. So there's that. But seriously, if you stayed for this long, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I started to upload more about open world games lately in case you didn't know me. That's what I like to do. I used to play a lot of Borderlands, but nowadays open worlds is my thing. So if you're interested in more, please subscribe, check out the channel, let me know what you think. Do all the YouTube stuff. I'm really interested to hear what other people have to say about this game and other games that I'm interested in. So for now, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, like I said. And as usual, have a nice day.